This is a special COVID-19 report on behalf of Friendly to Seniors, directed primarily at seniors, although people of all ages, and also on behalf of CARP, that's the Canadian Association of Retired Persons. My name is John Lindsay. I'm chair of Friendly to Seniors Sudbury, and also vice chair of CARP, speaking on behalf of Hugh Crizel, who's chair of the Canadian Association of Retired Persons, our CARP chapter for Northern Ontario. We're going to be talking about a number of the issues related to the virus and the fact that the community may be opening up, as they say, economically. Now, we'll be talking about that and about other measures that perhaps us seniors should be taking with respect to this virus. But before we do, we're going to hear from a young lady who's actually experienced a very healthy young person, as she'll describe, before she got the virus. Very active, very much involved, a really part of the community that we would describe as being healthy.
This is my experience. I am active, meaning that I lift weights in a gym a minimum of 3 times a week with approximately 3 hours of cardio on top of that, a lifestyle I've maintained for the last 10 years. I also consider myself healthy, meaning that I cook with lots of vegetables and organic meat from local farmers. I do not have any pre-existing conditions, and I do not take any prescriptions. My symptoms from COVID-19 are unique to me, and I hope you never experience any of them. The cough is involuntary and unrelenting. I barely had time to cover my mouth with my elbow. It's difficult to say 2 words without being interrupted by another cough, literally gasping for breath between words at times. My lungs were full of mucus that would come up in my throat when I coughed. It was so thick I couldn't clear my throat and had trouble breathing when it blocked my trachea. It felt as though I had the weight of bricks pushing down on my lungs. It was tight, and I could only take short breaths. It took a lot of effort to breathe, and it seemed that I was suffocating from the inside out. I had a runny nose and congestion, similar to having a bad head cold, and needed to keep Kleenex near me at all times. I had a transient fever. It washed over me unexpectedly, and then an hour later would disappear, only to return again later in the day and then go away again. My muscles ached like I had been beaten up, my stomach was sore, and I was nauseous. I had dry, itchy eyes, both my ears were blocked, they were sore and ached as if I had an ear infection. I lost both my sense of taste and sense of smell. I couldn't tell what I was eating or drinking. My mouth was parched and dry, no matter how much fluid I drank. And as I improved, my sinuses and sore throat were raw, feeling as though someone had scraped all the skin off. My lungs felt as though a campfire had burnt the insides to a crisp, searing all the way up my throat and sinus. It was painful to breathe, and I felt like I was breathing in a cloud of smoke.
Well, that report is certainly something to give us some pause for consideration. A young person, very healthy, and the effects, well, you heard the report, very severe. So how about us? How about us older folks? Well, the health units have said that we should be vigilant, especially vigilant, those of us over the age of 70 in particular. Because if you look at the death rates, around 2% for most younger people, and for us, the older folks, could be as high as 20%. That means all of us over the age of 70, there's one chance, a fifth of us, if we acquire the virus, well, could go to our final reward. Something to keep in mind. Now the economy is in trouble, and there's moves afoot to open up the economy, to have businesses, organizations, stores, companies all open up and to resume normal operations, or as normal as possible. Now, how does that affect us older folks? Well, what it does, it means that us older folks have to continue to put on our masks. Now, whether they're regular masks like this, or even better than this one, or cloth masks, doesn't matter. When we go out, this is what we should be wearing. Now, it's been debatable over a period of time whether or not these masks are very effective. But it seems to be the general consensus now that yes, indeed, they are. Regardless of whether, those of us who maybe not appear to have symptoms, but maybe spreading the virus anyway. And of course, to protect in a certain way from others who may have the virus and may affect us. So these are the considerations, that we should remain vigilant. We should stay at home as much as possible, even though it's getting to be a bit boring for some of us. But the weather is getting better. We do feel that community gardens should be opened up, because that at least would give us the opportunity for those of us who do community garden activities to get out there and still maintain that social distance and wear the mask perhaps as well. Now, making sure that, if you do go to the grocery store, once again, there's the mask as well, and only probably once every 2 weeks or so, or get someone else to do it for you. Because seniors are generally quite responsible, and we think that most of us have been fairly responsible thus far. Now, if you look at the cases that have been revealed recently, it seems to be a lot of younger people. So it's not us older people. We seem to be taking this very seriously, and we should continue to do so, continuing on, well, for as long as it takes. So once again, this is just an opportunity to say to all of you out there, on behalf of the organizations that do represent you, the advocacy groups, Friendly to Seniors and CARP, are both advocacy groups, and we're doing our best to help our segment of the population, and by doing so to help the rest of the population as well too. So once again, remember to stay safe, wear masks when you do go out, and wash those paws on a regular basis as well too, and avoid too much contact. That social distance works well. We do have, for those of us who have the facilities, and most people now are able to do the Zoom and the Facebook and the other ways of communicating. We had our family Easter get-together with kids and grandkids from Vancouver Island, from Calgary, from Southern Ontario, all with us for those celebrations. So even though we can't get the touchy and the huggies in, we can always say hi through the videos. So once again, John Lindsay on behalf of Hugh Crizel, Friendly to Seniors, and the Canadian Association of Retired Persons, stay safe until next time.